Good morning. I'm Sandra from Employers for Childcare, and with me this morning I have Jimmy, and Jimmy's going to answer some questions that we have had from parents regarding the tax-free childcare scheme during COVID-19. So we're going to start off, Jimmy. Can you please tell us briefly what exactly is tax-free childcare?
Hi, Sandra. Tax-Free Childcare is a scheme run by the UK government, which supports working parents with their registered childcare costs. So for eligible families, tax-free childcare covers 20% of the registered childcare costs up to a maximum top-up of £2,000 per year per child. That top-up can go up to £4,000 a year per child if the child's in receipt of DLA. Tax-free childcare can be used to pay for registered childcare for children under the age of 12, or again, if they're in receipt of DLA, up to the age of 17.
And tell us, who can benefit from tax-free childcare? What exactly is an eligible family?
Well, we would quite regularly get phone calls from parents who had got a leaflet from their nursery and they phone up and say, I'm probably not entitled to anything because me and my partner both work. And that's not always the case. So to be eligible for tax-free childcare, both parents need to be working, or if it's a single parent, they need to be working and earning between £139.52 a week and £100,000 a year. So obviously anyone working generally falls into that category. There are exceptions. So if it is a couple, you can have circumstances where one of the couple's working and earning between that £139.52 a week and £100,000 a year, and the other parent isn't working if they have legitimate reason for not working, i.e. they have an illness or disability, which means they get employment support allowance contribution based, or they're caring for someone with an illness or disability and getting carers allowance. In those exceptions, then that household can still qualify for tax-free childcare. But it is important to note if it's a single parent household, they do need to be working.
And what about self-employed parents? Can they claim tax-free childcare?
Yes, so with the Childcare Voucher scheme, it was only for people that were working because it was a salary sacrifice. This excluded self-employed people, but self-employed people can use the tax-free childcare scheme. They just have to meet the eligibility criteria of the earnings between £139.52 and £100,000 a year.
So how exactly does tax-free childcare work? What do parents need to do to claim this support?
So a parent needs to open up a tax-free childcare account for each child they're going to use registered childcare for. This is done via the government's Childcare Choices website. I do know whenever I set it up, it took me about 8 minutes. The information you need to set it up, you'll need your national insurance number and your date of birth, which you will obviously know. You also need that of your partner if you have one, which you may not know. Things you need would be a pay slip, or a P60 form, or your passport, just to confirm your identity, and then each child's date of birth. The last kind of thing you would need is the date you and your partner, if you have one, started your most recent employment. If it was more than 3 months ago, you can give an estimate of the date of the start of the recent employment. Once the account's set up, usually takes a couple of hours. Parents, or indeed anyone, can contribute and pay money into the account. Basically, every child or every parent in the UK has the same sort code and account number. They just have a different reference for their child, and that's how the tax-free childcare know which child to allot it to. So whenever you transfer money in, the tax office tops it up by 20%, usually within an hour or two. There are caps, so I did mention the cap of £2,000 a year per child. That's split into quarters, so the most they would ever top up would be £500 every 3 months per child. Once the money's in your account and has been topped up, you need to go in and transfer it directly to the childcare provider. So all you would do would put in their postcode and they will be able to select them from a drop-down list, and then you can transfer the money over once a week, once a month, or however often you do it.
So we know COVID-19 has had a significant impact on families, but has it affected the way the parents claim tax-free childcare?
We have had a significant number of calls from parents that are getting tax-free childcare, and they're worried because with COVID, there's been a lot of parents either put on furlough not able to work or working less if they're self-employed, or just a reduction in earnings. So if for whatever reason your work's been reduced or you've been placed on furlough or made redundant, for tax-free childcare, if the changes are temporary and you're still in employment, then they will ignore them and you will still be eligible. If you are made redundant, then you may no longer be able to claim the scheme. So it would be important to contact ourselves just to have a wee check carried out, just to see what your own personal situation is. So we can be contacted via our free phone advice line on 0800 028 3008, or also by email at hello@employersforchildcare.org.
So is there anything else today, Jimmy, that you'd like to share with us in relation to tax-free childcare, or anything else that you feel might be of interest to the parents that are watching this?
Yes, it's important to note what we quite regularly get is someone who has maybe lost entitlement to the vouchers and now wants to claim tax-free childcare, but their partner is claiming the vouchers. And so we would make them aware that for them to join tax-free childcare, their partner would need to leave the voucher scheme, or indeed, to join tax-free childcare, you can't run it alongside any other scheme that helps you with your childcare costs. So that would be childcare vouchers, tax credits, or universal credit. So it's very important before you decide to open an account that you would contact ourselves, just have a personalised check carried out to see if it is going to be your best form of support.
Thank you very much for that, Jimmy, and we hope this has been really useful to the parents that are watching. If you do have any queries around tax-free childcare, or indeed around any of the other forms of financial support that your family might be entitled to with or other types of benefits, please do contact our Family Benefits Advice Service. And just to remind you, the number is 0800 028 3008, or you can drop us an email on hello@employersforchildcare.org. Thanks again.